I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is my modded adventure. Today, I want to fight the Wilden boss from Ars Nouveau. However, this is going to require quite a bit of prep, as this boss is no joke. But as soon as we get all of the things that the boss drops, we have the potential to become very powerful, unlocking the tier 3 spellbook. Now, in order to do this, I think Apotheosis is going to be our friend. Getting further through the Apotheosis mod is really going to make this whole boss fight possible, in my opinion. But before we can actually even dive further into Apotheosis and enchanting, well, we're gonna need to go to the Nether and, well, capture a specific mob. That's right, you guessed it, we need a ghast, and we're gonna need to capture a ghast. So hopefully we can put this inside of our Drigme farm and it can start farming it, because we're gonna need several ghast tiers in order to make the potions that are needed in order to upgrade to the next level shelf, which is called Hell Shelves. Yeah, kind of related to the Nether. But yes, getting ourselves a ghast to spawn is like never happens when you want it to happen. Perfect, one just spawned, and this is going to be kind of difficult as I need to jump back and forth. Oh no. I don't have the thing I made either that allows me to not take as much damage. No, I can't. I should not have done this. I mean, it is right here. So can I just yoink you? Okay, I got it. We just need to get out of here now. Oh my goodness, that was total chaos. Now for the fun part, and that is going to be containing this thing. I'm going to place this here. Oh, Enderman, you are in the worst spot, because I need this thing. Okay, so what I'm going to hopefully have happen here is this is going to be fast enough. Let's go ahead and activate. So it's running, it has the jar it's needing, and then the yoinker. Okay, whew, thank goodness for the protection. Yeah, getting this thing is probably the craziest thing to have inside of a containment jar, because normally it would be incredibly difficult in order to farm this with a Drigme. But because of these containment jars, oh, it's so nice. Just don't make the mistake of accidentally dispelling it. Yeah, that could end poorly. Very poorly. So I've done a little bit, and I've got most of my potions brewed up. And so I had most of them already gone. I went through most of my ghast tiers that had built up by the time I had produced all of the awkward potions to make all these potions. But I'm going to need all of these. I think 15. And then I need to convert my bookshelves. So let's make sure we can capture our bookshelves and not have to remake them. So I'm going to grab all of my bookshelves that I currently have. And what I want to do is convert these into the hell shelves. And this shouldn't be all that difficult. We just, like I said, needed the regeneration potion. That was the hardest part. And once we have enough hell shelves, things should start moving quite smoothly. So 15 of these, or however many I had. Let's see. Oh, did I not have enough potions? Oh, no, I forgot a couple. Yes, there we go. Perfect. So 15 hell shelves, and I think that might get us up to the number to be able to do infusion. Now, infusion is going to be really nice, because once we're able to infuse enough things, it's going to open up the ability for us to take any enchanted book and basically store it and recall it at any time. That is a very powerful thing, especially now that we have Industrial Foregoing also unlocked. So exactly that, with 15 placed in here, you see we're at 22.5 and we have 65 quanta. And that's just reading out, you see, from Jade there. And what we need for this is at least 22.5 of the Eterna and at least 30, in which we do have all of those from just those shelves. So what we can start doing now is we should be able to, at this point, start upgrading to these infused hell shelves. Keep in mind, though, they do require 45 levels. Now, I'm hoping just from our Drigme farm alone that we will be able to easily maintain that, because these are experience. When we shift right click them, they turn into experience. Now, we don't have a very crazy XP farm, just yet, but that might be something we have to work on in the future. The Drink Me farm is great for farming mob drops, but not so much for generating mass amounts of experience. Now, to get the infusion, at least what I want to do today, we're only going to need 4 of them to get this enchanting library. So that means we need to make a few more bookshelves, which also means I'm going to need at least, let's see, at least a few more of these potions. Lots of potion making. Yeah, we're definitely going to need an XP farm, but this will be our first infusion happening. And yes, well, actually, maybe I won't need as much as I thought, because the infusion, of course, this only costs like 3 levels. So once you're at that level, just consuming 1 stack of these seems to be getting the job done. Very nice. Perfect. Now I have all of the infusions. So now for the fun part, making the enchantment library, which is insanely powerful for enchants. So now that we have this, let's dive into the industrial foregoing part and giving us the ability to pull enchants off of enchanted gear. Now I do need an upgraded version of the simple machine frame, which is going to be the advanced machine frame, in order to make this new machine. So yet another little grind I needed to do, but it is going to totally pay off, as this is going to be a very nice machine. So enchantment extractor. This is what we're making, an enchantment extractor, which basically allows you to pull enchants off of gear without destroying the gear. It's pretty darn powerful. Now we are going to need an ender gate because this does require some power, but outside of that, it doesn't really require much else. Now I'm thinking, do I want to include it in here? We can put one here and maybe put the library here for now. It doesn't really matter too much. You could mix and combine these things and actually allow this to connect. For right now, I'm going to be doing this manually because most of the stuff is going to happen in my little enchanting room. So how does this work? Well, for example, we have Soulbound here. If I grab some books out of my system, let's just get a bunch of books because we're going to need a bunch of them before all of this finishes. We can go ahead and put the Silk Touch hoe in here and then add the book, and this is going to extract the enchanted book off of the hoe and give us the hoe back. And then we can put that Silk Touch in here and pull it out and combine all on demand. It's very powerful. So now how I want to set this up is by simply taking our gear, right, that we currently have, and stripping off the enchants and re-enchanting it, and then re-stripping the enchants off of it again. This is going to give us a really nice buildup of books. And oh, this is just going to be great. So look at that. We can even get like maxed out fire protection so long as we are high enough level, 45. And we got an over enchanted with that mana regen. And these can be, like I said, stripped off of here and reapplied to your gear. This is crazy. I was crazy once. So after enchanting for quite a while, I can put this item inside the item filter here. And this is only going to show me the enchants that are currently available that I could put on this gear. Now, the main thing I want on all of my mage gear is, well, definitely going to be mana regen for sure, and mana boost. Like maxing these out, 100%. Now, with this current tier of enchantment library, because there is a higher tier, we can only generate up to the 4 on this. It's still going higher, 1 level higher than your default, which would be mana boost 3. So us getting up to mana boost 4 is amazing. And you notice they're combining both of them, which is even better. But with all of this, I think like some multi-jump might be really fun. Unbreaking is always something nice to put on here. Steady body prevents knockback during combat. Yes, we can do that. Max out protection to protection 5. Definitely worth doing, which is 1 over. When it starts to change into that color, we know it's 1 over the value or higher. And then we can also do projectile protection. I think that's a good one. So we won't be able to put this on all of our pieces, but like at least getting this on most of our equipment, we should be able to do. I'm also starting to run out of experience. So I think overall, this is going to be a nice, well-rounded set. And I kind of know how the vanilla system works. So long as we have protection on all of our gear, we should be fine. But we do have extra levels of, let's say, protection on multiple pieces. So 2 sets I do have projectile, and the other ones I have blast protection. And with Apotheosis, you can have 2 types of protection. I don't know how effective those 2 things are going to be on this gear, but it'll be worth sort of checking out, especially when we go to fight this boss, because the boss, well, it does take a little bit to kill, depending on the phases that you get. But yes, as you can see right here, this is going to definitely help us on that mana regen front. Now, one other thing that we're going to need is a better weapon. And we've made a couple of cool weapons from Arzivo that's been not too bad. But I think stepping up our game and actually crafting this sword is going to be the next step up. And I have a very interesting spell that we can use on this sword that is very, very powerful. And I mean very powerful. And that's without even incorporating Apotheosis into this sword and adding gems and, of course, upgrading it down the road. For right now, it's pretty much like a diamond sword, but it can use a spell that's assigned to it. And the cool part is by default, it gets touch, so you don't have to assign touch to your spell. So we should be able to go in here and find an empty spot and start to sort of build ourselves a custom spell, keeping in mind that we do not need touch to initiate this spell. So we can remove that. And whatever the last thing is, gets an extra amplify without us needing to amplify onto the sword. So let's go ahead and try to set up a spell that is going to work for this sword. And there's a lot of combinations you can do. And I'm going to be going sort of one route, but you can of course go there's tons of different powerful spells that you can use. Now, I think this is a pretty powerful one. What we can do is we can freeze initially, which is going to sort of slow the mob, which is really nice, but we need to hit it with a delay if we plan on using Cold Snap. But before we use Cold Snap, I'm thinking to sort of balance this grid out, we can use Snare with an extend time on it, and then we can get a Cold Snap that's double amplified. And since we don't have to worry about it being a touch or the last amplify on here, we can then add another Cold Snap after the delay. So we get a Cold Snap and then 1 amplify, meaning that the next will be another amplify. And by the way, you can only put 2 amplifies on a Cold Snap. So if we create this and we place our sword in here, and then we shift to put the spell on, we'll now see that it has touch at the beginning and now has 2 amplifies at the end instead of 1, because it's sort of what the sword does. And to be able to test this out, and if you're wondering what Snare does, Snare locks the mob in place. It's like a super slowness. So as you see, it gets hit with that slow, then the snare with some extended time on that snare, and allows us to basically repetitively hit the mob over and over again with these 2 spells, basically avoiding their armor as well. This is really great for Apotheosis bosses. And yeah, it's a very powerful spell on a sword, and that's without even enchanting this thing. So we might as well add some sharpness and smite, because you can also apply 2 damaging spells or 2 damaging enchantments onto here as well because of Apotheosis, making it even more powerful. Now, a couple of other things I want to do. I definitely want to remove a couple of these threads and replace the tier 3 one with this one, which is called Spell Power. This is going to increase my spell damage, making this sword deal even more damage from those abilities. And then I think the heights is not a big one. We can go ahead and put Drigme here. It's not that big of a deal. And then for the helmet, I want to put in the tier 2 slot this Thread of Warding. This is a new one as well. This is going to reduce the amount of magic damage that we take by a flat amount. So any sort of damage mitigation is going to be nice. And then I can go ahead and toss that in there as well. And this is like an overloaded nice amount of threads and damage reduction and spell damage. And let's go ahead and see with the enchants and with that new spell power, how much do we damage? So now it's doing 17 versus 11. So that increased the amount of damage by 14 total over the single hit. Now also remember that the shield from ours, once we get hit, it also gives us a little bit of spell damage increase as well. So all of this combined is going to be very powerful. There's still one thing though left to do, and that is, how do we maintain our health and also our saturation in food? I got just the thing. Now we can actually take some potions, for example, the regeneration 2, and we can turn this into a charm. And this will be pretty cool because we can activate this charm, and it's going to now have durability and is going to be consumed from the charm instead of being consumed from our potion and only giving us like 22 seconds. And while this is active, we will get the regeneration 2 effect, hopefully lasting the duration of the fight. And then, along with that, let's just say we want to upgrade our food. That's where this comes into play. So I've had carrots running for quite a while, and we should be able to allow our backpack to auto eat for us. And if we mix the assorted vegetables from the rats mod in here, we can give this to our chef of rat, our chef Gordy rat here, the one that has the chef upgrade. And if we give this to him, it's going to do more than just smelt. It should convert this food into confetti bialdi. I think I said that right. Which has insane saturation on it. Just like ridiculous saturation. And this is some crazy food right here. So yeah, after getting this made, confit bialdi. I think I'm saying it better the more I go. I've tried to look it up. But this guy should be producing the last one. Oh, it is completely done. So we have 47 of them. That should be plenty. This is probably very delectable. It's probably a very delicious dish. But I need to be able to auto eat this. So with the backpacks mod, there is a way to do that with a feeding upgrade. So we will need a basic upgrade and glistening melons. And what is it? Just a golden apple? So with all of these, we get a feeding upgrade. And then the advanced one is a little bit more advanced. I think by default, though, this feeding upgrade is not too bad. But the advanced one lets us control how often we actually eat. So if I remove the void upgrade for now and replace it with this, we can tell it to only eat when the player is hungry enough to eat, which is pretty useful to do. And then we can specify allow and only eat this particular food that we put in the allow list. And then we can also make sure to feed the player when I get hurt, which I think is a great idea, because if we get hurt, we want to be able to regenerate our health and make sure we can do that. So I think with all of these things, we should be ready to fight this guy. Now, I think I've found the perfect place to fight this thing. And it's right here in this beautiful birch forest. Oh, it's gorgeous here. But it's about to potentially be annihilated because this guy can actually destroy things. So what we're going to need is a ritual brazier. So I have that all set up and things are ready to go. Let's get kind of our inventory sort of cleaned up here. We really only need a few things. We're going to need our sword, and that's basically it, in our spell book. And then we're going to need to be able to turn this on. So we'll have that all cleared out. And the way we activate this is by placing the summon tablet into the brazier. And this is the same one that we use to just generate mobs, generate the Wilden mobs. But if we augment this by clicking in all three of the different materials, this will now summon in the boss. So let's turn on our regeneration, and hopefully our auto eating will actually consume this food. If not, I'm going to put a little over here because it should. But let's go ahead and do this by clicking it. Oh boy, I hope I'm ready for this. I did not give myself a nice flat area because I wanted a little bit of a challenge. Oh boy. And we do have our dash, but this is the Wilden Chimera. And so automatically we're dealing a little bit of damage to it. There it goes. So yes, this thing will deal and change phases, but we're dealing a ton of damage to it. Holy smokes. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, we ate the food and it changed us. We have synesthesia, which changes the way everything looks. That's what the food does. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it gives us wow, it gives us extra hearts. We've extra absorption, right? Yeah, and it changes everything to yellow. I thought this had music associated with it. I wonder if it's because the jukebox is turned down. I don't know, maybe the jukebox has been removed because I'm not hearing any of the sounds from it, interestingly enough. But look, it should be snaring, in which it is doing. Oh, it's changing face. It's changing face. Oh, no. I thought it was changing face. It's summoned in. We're half health. Half health here. This boss has a lot of health. 1,000 health. All right. I'm hoping it switches to... Oh. Right now, it's just the regular Wilden wolf. The wolf Wilden. But it can swap between the 3 different forms. I think the spike one is probably the hardest to deal with. It's not changing yet. Come on, there it goes. Okay. Oh, it did change into the spike one. Yeah, this one's pretty rough. Oh! Oh, gosh. So it's in like in invincibility frames. Okay, so while it has the spikes out, you cannot harm it. So it's something to keep in mind. Ooh, the synesthesia is ridiculous when you eat it. Oh man, we ate more food. Yeah, I don't think we're going to die with the way this food works. I think we maybe overdid things. But yeah, that's the spiky boy, and this thing should be on its last limb, and we've done it. Look at that. We have wrecked the Wilden boss. Now, these Wilden tributes are used for a lot of things. Now, the base Wilden tribute here, this is used for making all of the geo ore defining rods. Or dowsing rods. The dowsing rods will allow you to be able to find the geo ores, and believe me, they are worth finding. They're very powerful. We haven't talked about them just yet, but there are basically like amethyst geodes underground, but they work exactly like these, where the golem can farm them and everything, but they're related to ore variants such as iron, gold, and all of that. Diamonds, emeralds. Yeah, they're all underground, hiding, waiting for you to find them. And one of the best ways to find them is by simply making this rod to help you find and locate them. But yes, it does require quite a bit in order to get into this. Now, the thing I really want is this. Now, it does require a nether star, which does require you to kill the wither. And one of the best ways to kill the wither would be to potentially kill it underneath the portal. But there's a different sort of wither in here. And, well, it may require its own video. Now, I think, though, the Totem of Undying we should be able to gather today. And remember from a past episode, there was somebody that we couldn't necessarily defeat back then. I think now we can come back and seek revenge. Remember this little pit up here? Yeah, that we ran away like a scared little baby. I think now we can easily take these guys on. Oh yeah, like nothing, like they're nothing. Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. This sword and spell combo is super powerful. Now, it looks like we might still be missing someone under here? I don't know. Is there another one in here? There has to be, because we're still being attacked by this. Ah, there he is. Get out of here. Look at that. One sword swipe. And bam. We have ourselves 2 Totems of Undying now. Now, this is not half bad. There's like blocks of copper here. Tons of copper blocks. And I wonder what's all inside here. Ooh, and we got owl feathers. Increases experience gained. That's nice. More copper. I'm sure this loot is going to be very primitive, considering it is a very primitive encampment. But still, it's pretty darn cool. Now, back to the Nether Star. I think we could actually get one today. No problem at all. Because we've already delved into the Industrial Foregoing to the point where making advanced frames is not too difficult. So I went ahead and made another one. And we have ourselves our first mob crusher. Now, we've made the slaughter factory, and that gives you the different liquids from mobs. This gives you the actual drops and has the ability to instant kill the wither. And we do actually have wither skeleton skulls that have built up. So we do have a few of them, and we can use this tinted glass in order to kill this boss, supposedly. Now, recommended when building this that you make it bigger than a 3x3 on the interior. Otherwise, you might notice the wither could potentially escape. That is sort of the downside. But inside here, I now have a way to build the wither myself. And then this mob crusher should be able to handle the rest. Let's just go ahead and give it some power. So that is now powered up. And I'm going to temporarily steal my range upgrade off of this, because this should be more than enough range to put into here just for this killing, as you can see. Nice. And now, as soon as this bar reaches the bottom, that's when it'll activate the actual mob kill. So if I summon the wither, hopefully nothing goes bad. We should be good. And I'll close this back up. And now the wither has spawned, and this should work. Now, this is my first wither, but there's a thing in here called progressive bosses that do make withers a bit harder to kill if you kill them yourself. But there we go. We have our first nether star, and that is a kill done by the mob crusher, which is fantastic. That industrial foregoing adds. It's just amazing. So now the moment of truth. With all of those things, we can now make the tier 3 spellbook. This right here, the Archmage spellbook, which is going to give us access to tier 3 spells. And one of the first ones I want to make is Blink, which it has to be one of the most powerful spells in here. Blink is just an insanely powerful spell, given that it works very similar to an Ender Pearl, but has some other pretty cool properties to it as well. So if we take that, let's go ahead and use that same spell that we did here, and we'll call this Blink, right? Blink. I guess I'm gonna hit clear. So we'll do projectile and then accelerate, because we want to accelerate that projectile, and then we'll go Blink. And this can do a couple of things. This can technically, if you use it with a mob in your offhand, with a scroll in your offhand that's set to a location, it can send that mob to that location, meaning you can teleport mobs around, but you can also teleport yourself. And this is pretty darn cool. So we'll activate this Blink. Basically, where I look and I use this spell, we will teleport to. And I did put the accelerate on just like that. It's pretty much what you think it is. It will teleport us to that location, and very fast. Now, if we change this up and we cast it on ourselves, Blink does something a little bit different. It shoots us forward. So, yes, you can just completely dash forward like this. And I don't know, does it let you teleport through walls? Yes, it lets you teleport through walls, basically. Oh, or teleport like that, which we definitely don't want to do. Yes, it has some really cool functionality. Now, with all of that, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully you got something out of it. If you did, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and or give this video a huge thumbs up. Of course, guys, I really appreciate you, and it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go to Eye Gaze Girl over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member and supporting in one of the best ways possible. I thank you guys all so very much for watching. Be sure to check out the Discord, discord.gg/ChosenArchitect, and also follow me over on Twitter if that's your thing. I do post over on Twitter all the time, so be sure to check that out, and or Twitch. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and as always, I say it all the time, thanks for watching. Bye.